The required field validator control is very useful, but Visual Studio comes with other validation controls to help you make sure that your users have entered the right values into your forms. The range validator control allows you to check that the user has entered the correct type of value and allows you to restrict the value to a range. The validation summary control lets you easily display a list of validation error messages to let the user know what they have entered incorrectly. To begin this lesson, open the Shining Stone sample file from your Sample Files folder. And open by.aspx in Design View. Now add a range validator control next to the phone number text box. You'll find it in the Validation category of the toolbox. The range validator control allows you to restrict a value to a specific type and range. Now you'll need to set the properties of your new range validator, so set the ID property to range validator phone number, set the text property to star, set the control to validate property to text box phone number, set the type property to integer, set the minimum value property to 0, and set the maximum value property to 999,999. The type property makes sure that the contents of the validated control are of a certain type. Setting it to integer makes sure that the user enters a whole number into the text box phone number control. The minimum value and maximum value properties control which numbers the range validator will accept as valid. In this case, if the number is below 0 or above 999,999, it will be considered invalid. This will restrict users to phone numbers with 6 digits or less. Now let's see the range validator control in action. View by.aspx in your web browser. Enter some text into the Address 1 text box. And in the phone number text box, enter 999,999 and click Submit Order. The form submits successfully because 999,999 is within the range that is allowed by your range validator control. Try adding one more 9 to your phone number now, and click Submit Order. And this time the validator's error message appears because 999,999 is higher than the maximum value property. In a real project, you would probably use a regular expression validator control to make sure that the user enters a valid phone number. Close your browser now and take a quick look at the other controls in the Validation category. Along with the Required Field Validator and Range Validator controls, you can see the Compare Validator, Custom Validator, and Regular Expression Validator controls. The Compare Validator control is useful when you want to validate by comparing one control with another. The Custom Validator control allows you to enter your own JavaScript code to be used for validation. And the Regular Expression Validator control allows you to validate using a regular expression. Regular expressions aren't covered in this course, but you can learn all about them in the Expert Skills course in this series. The only control that's left is the Validation Summary control. As well as displaying error messages next to the controls themselves, you can use a Validation Summary control to show a list of validation problems. Add a Validation Summary control to the page just after the Submit Order button. Now set the ID property of the new Validation Summary to Validation Summary by. The Validation Summary control will automatically display the error message properties of any validation controls on the page. To see it in action, you'll need to set the error message properties of your validation controls. Select the Required Field Validator Address 1 control and set its error message property to Address 1 Required. Then select the Range Validator Phone Number control and set its error message to Invalid Phone Number. Now view the page in your browser. Enter ABC into the phone number text box and click Submit Order. The validation summary appears, showing the error message properties. Notice that the stars still appear where you placed the validation controls. Close your web browser now and close Visual Studio. You've now completed Lesson 4.9. Use the Range Validator and Validation Summary controls.